Hello, dear students. I am Dr. Govind Sarswat, and I welcome you in this last lecture on Thomas Gray's Elegy written in a country churchyard. We have discussed how Thomas Gray has started writing this elegy when he was sitting alone in the country churchyard during the evening time, and he was thinking about he was watching the activities going on around him, the bell that indicates that now everyone should put out the fire, the returning of the farmer, weary farmer from his field, then the lowing of the cows or the cattles when they return from the fields, then the stillness in that atmosphere that that indicates a very serious and contemplative mood in the minds of the readers. And then he starts talking about the fate of those people who are engraved here, who were poor, and he sympathizes with the fate of these people because they died obscure, they died unknown and unhonored. People who are rich, aristocratic, powerful, and beautiful, they might think that what kind of a life they had lived, that was completely insignificant and just ordinary, and it may cause them to uh, degrade their value as a human being. But Thomas Gray, in a moralistic way, tries to teach them a lesson that paths of glory lead but to the grave. You must keep this in your mind, and accordingly, you should behave and uh, respect the identity of other human beings also. What though they may be poor, you are rich at present, but after death, everyone will be mingled in the same dust and will become soil. Then, with some rhetorical questions, he gives some thoughts to the readers that whatever we do in order to honor or in order to honor the dead, all those activities cannot affect death. If someone erects a marble vault or monument over the grave of a rich person, and if someone goes on praising the merits and achievements of someone, then death is not at all affected. Death does not discriminate between rich and poor, or high and low. In front of death, everyone is equal. Death levels all. And then he he then says that yes, it is just a matter of opportunity. That opportunity was not given to them. That is why they could not uh, express or show their worth to the whole world. But उसको लगा कि चलो अच्छा ही हुआ एक तरह से। अगर उनको अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं मिली तो वो ये कुछ अच्छा काम नहीं कर पाए, लेकिन हो सकता है कि उनमें से कुछ ऐसे भी रहे होंगे जो अपने नेचर में बुरे होंगे, और अगर उनको अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल जाती तो शायद वो कुछ क्राइम भी कर बैठते। सो देयर लॉट फेयर बेड, so both the positive and negative aspects are there. But even then, he says that whatever they did, that was full of homely joys. They enjoyed their life, although it was just an ordinary one. Well, we can imagine the happiness of a person who comes or who returns home after the day's work, completely tired. But when he watches or his children running towards him so that they can get the first kiss of their father, so it relieves him of all that fatigue. And then the busy wife, that busy wife, when she implies her care, that kind of bond or that kind of reciprocal relationship is enjoyed by them. So this is all simple but pure, and what is pure is full of beauty. And That is why the people who are rich, they can never understand the value of all these simple things. In a classic Bollywood movie uh, entitled Bawarchi, I, I came across a very good line, a very famous dialogue by Rajesh Khanna. He says there that it is very simple to be happy, but it is very difficult to be simple. So here also the same thing implies. They they remained simple throughout their life. They did not deviate from their path. They kept to their line, and they died in a very peaceful manner. And then the poet talks about his own death. After his death, when he would also be worried among these people here in this churchyard, some person of the uh, same thinking like I am right now, he would inquire my fate also. He would inquire my day's activities and what I used to do, and about my behavior also. He would relate everything about me. And then one morn he would say that I miss the poet on the accustomed hill and along the heath and near his favorite tree. Another came, nor yet beside the rill, nor up the lawn, nor at the wood was he. So he would say that one day I missed him. One morning when I went into the went onto the accustomed hill, I missed him. He was not there. And uh, then I went near that brook because he has his favorite beech tree. He had his favorite beech tree near that brook, but he was not also there. Then another day came, nor yet beside the rill. No, rill means that brook. He was not beside that near the that brook, nor up the lawn. He was not at the lawn, nor at the woods was he. So he is found. He would be found nowhere, and the poet will would be missed by his uh, his admirer, or the person who would relate everything about his story when he would pass by his grave. The next, with dirge due in the said array, slow through the churchway path, we saw him borne. Approach and read, for thou canst read the and lay graved on the stone beneath you aged thorn. Then the poet says that after some days, or after the third day, the person and his friends would see the poet's body being carried to the churchyard for burial. Thomas Gray imagines himself buried in the same graveyard he once used to wander by. Then the person would uh, would think, or he would be a curious passerby, because he want to know something about the poet. When he will and when he would pass by the grave of Thomas Gray, he would stop and read the epitaph of Thomas grave Gray's grave. Now the person may be uneducated, he cannot read, but for the sake of curiosity, because he is curious, he would stop and he would try to read. And now this is the epitaph. This is a custom in the Christian religion. They inscribe something on the grave of the dead person, and generally These are some didactic lines, and they are supposed to be the you can say the philosophy of the dead, which they want the living should read and think about the intended meaning of life. The way in which the speaker imagines his epitaph will read. This is all about. It says, like, it goes like, here rests his head upon the lap of earth, a youth to fortune and to fame unknown. Fair signs frowned not on his humble birth, and melancholy marked him for her own. So, these lines are dedicated to the poet, and this is the life story. These few lines, they summarize the life story of the poet, that here lies someone in the in the lap of earth, a youth to fortune and to fame unknown. He was completely unknown to good fortune and fame. He was not famous. He was not that much fortunate enough in his life. Fair signs his humble frowned not on his humble birth. His birth was also humble. Signs that in there is the use of personification in this quatrain, because we find that there is capital F in fortune, capital F in fame, and capital S in science, and then capital M in melancholy. So all these attributes are personified, and whatever has been written on the stone of or the grave of Thomas Gray has been suggested by the poet himself. He says that whatever uh, whatever things he had enjoyed in his life, but after his death, uh, it should be related, or it should be inscribed on his grave, that I was just an ordinary youth, like the poor forefathers of this, or poor farmers of this village. I was not fortunate enough. I was not that much famous as other people are. I was, uh, my birth was also a humble one, and most of the life, most of my life was marked by melancholy, sad feelings. So, life is a mingled yarn of joy and sorrow, and uh, Thomas Hardy, in one of his uh, best novels entitled The Mayor of Casterbase, wrote a very beautiful line. He says that uh, he says that uh, I forgotten the beginning actually, but the main thing is his message was like that uh, life is a life is a, a long drama in which happiness is but an occasional episode. उसमें हैप्पीनेस जो है एक ओकेजनल एपिसोड ही है, बाकी पूरी लाइफ जो है आपकी एंग्जाइटी से भरी हुई होगी. कहीं ना कहीं आप ये सोचते होंगे अपनी लाइफ में कि कोई बड़ी खुशी आएगी, हम उसे इंजॉय करेंगे. बट when you wait, but when you keep on waiting for that big happiness, you simply ignore the little little uh, things which may give you more happiness. बड़ी बड़ी खुशियों के चक्कर में कई बार हम छोटी खुशियों को नज़रअंदाज कर देते हैं, लेकिन ज़िंदगी जो है इन छोटी छोटी खुशियों से ही मिलके बनी होती है. सो डोंट वेट फॉर दैट बिग बिग हैप्पीनेस. जस्ट enjoy what you have in the form of छोटी छोटी बातें. Now, In the next four lines, he says, Lars was his bounty, and his soul sincere. Heaven, heaven did a recompense as largely sent. He gave to misery all he had a tear. He gained from heaven. It was all he wished a friend. Lars was his bounty. Bounty means here means his massive. He had a big heart, and he was very rich in his actions. He was very liberal in his gifts. He had a sincere soul, and apart from these noble virtues, he did not possess much wealth and fortune. All that he had got was his capacity to sympathize with poor people. He sympathized with miserable and needy people whenever he used to meet them. For all this noble work, whatever he did in his life, he could get from God all that he desired to have, namely the gift of a friend. He says that whatever good deeds he had done in his life, he did not get riches in return as a gift from the God Almighty, but he whatever he deserved, that was given or offered to him by God, and that was a friend. The poet perhaps received the friendship of God Himself, or the friendship of an earthly friend like Richard West, whom he considered as his noblest friend in the whole world. So, then in the last quatrain, he says, no further seek his merits to disclose, to draw his frailties from their dread abode. There they alike in trembling hope repose, the bosom of his Father and his God. And then he says that whatever information you have received about me, that is enough for you. And now don't try to fathom deep or to make any further investigation of his virtues and vices. Because after death, people generally they always talk about the merits of the dead person, and they forget everything what he can't do or can't achieve in his life. But Gray doesn't want any kind of extravaganza, because throughout his life he had lived an ordinary, peaceful, and virtuous life. So after death, even after his death, he also wishes the people to think about his death in the same simple and virtuous way. Whatever he has done, they should remember, but they should never make a make a catalog of his virtues and his good deeds. Let them lie dead as he is, but keep them in your heart. So he says that don't try to further investigate, and he says that now they are both lying with God, because he has found a place in God's bosom after his death. So his merits and his frailties rest in the bosom of God. Thomas Gray is in the hope of reward, and God is in the hope of forgiveness. So this is all about Thomas Gray's Elegy written in a country churchyard. This is one of the best poems ever written in the history of English literature so far. So try to uh, decode the message that has been encoded by Thomas Gray in this long elegy. It is a lesson of life. It is, in a way, indirectly suggesting you how one should live and how one should behave in his life. This is a very important and valuable lesson. I hope that you would understand and imbibe the things Thomas Gray has suggested to all the human beings, and you also will become a good human being. Thank you.